Next up, we have Former Gardens from the Nullscape Volume 2. This is a Roblox game, is my understanding, by Digital Descendant. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, what happens if we reach 10,000 before Christmas? The gaming channel? How to request songs if you're not on the live stream? I have a spiel for this and a bunch of other things at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen, so go ahead and pause the video if you want to read them in full. Otherwise, please be patient with me. I am acoustic and guitarded, so please keep that in mind. With that said, let's do this. Former Gardens. Let's go. Okay, so we start, let me go back a second or two. We start with what sounds to be a guitar, maybe doubled by the bass. Doubling is when you have more than one instrument playing the same thing at the same time, giving us some initial arpeggios. We have Italians in the chat. Arpeggio, right? So arpeggios. Arpeggio is when you play a chord one note at a time, and we are doing, we're doing a couple of things here, right? So the arpeggio, as I said, is when you play a chord one note at a time. For example, here's C minor, and here it is arpeggiated, right? So we have arpeggios going on, which are giving us two things, a few things, as I said. One, we are engaging in voice leading. Two, we are engaging in sequencing, would it be sequencing? I'm going to say yes. And then we are also, because voice leading can lead to sequencing, and then we are probably getting our initial motif. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. So, as I said, arpeggios, one note at a time. Voice leading is when you make your transition between chords more efficient. So let's say, for example, let's bring the scale of C major, right? So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then E, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Let's say we have the scale of C major going on over here, and if you want to play a chord progression, that's whichever chords you're trying to do. Let's say we do one of the more stereotypical ones, which is called the 1-6-2-5 progression, in which you take the chord you get from the first chord, then one from the sixth one, the second, and then the fifth from the scale that you're in. In this case, it would be the chord C major, then followed by the chord A minor, all the way up here. Then the chord D minor, which is going back here, and then the chord G major, bouncing back up here. So what voice leading is taking the common denominators and keeping them. For example, the chord C major is C, E, and G, whereas the chord A minor is A, C, and E, which means if you keep C and E pressed, or if you play them twice, instead of having to go from here to here, you just have to go from here to here. And it makes things a lot easier. And then the same thing for E, D. You just keep the common denominators to get these going. So then we are engaging in voice leading with arpeggios, which means we could be having... Oh, I did the wrong chord there. Then we are engaging in sequencing. Sequencing is when you repeat a musical idea, usually in your melody, from a different starting point. So this could be something like a simple motif, right? That kind of thing. But in this case, we are using arpeggios, and with voice leading, you can kind of sequence these things, right? Something along those lines, right? So we're getting that going on, and let's see, did you have any issues with Port Robinson and copyright? I was surprised to see an LFA. Port Robinson is a pretty popular artist on the label. Let me double check, because I think they, let me see. Yeah, there were no copyright issues with Porter Robinson. Yeah. So chances are that either his label is cool or it didn't give me issues to begin with. Anyway, so we're having these. We're doing these. Chances are this is gonna be a song because I think the last one had lyrics as well. So we will see. Nidox, welcome today. Hi, Run. So yeah, let's see where this goes. And Running Kitten, welcome today. So I'll wait a couple seconds. So now we bring, you can hear it, we bring a synth giving us a violin playing the high notes that the guitar and the bass were playing during those arpeggios. And basically what we are doing over here is that we are taking the shapes made by the arpeggios, because we are doing some sort of shape like this, right? We're basically doing this for the arpeggios, and what we are doing with the violin is that we're just holding the highest notes and playing a melody out of that. So it's very, very pretty. We had a bit of drums there giving us like an initial hit. Let's see where it goes. From live, yes. Ooh. Okay, so we switch things around a lot. We bring in the electronic elements. We bring in these really cool electronic drums to this breakcore. Thank you. I'm still a tourist when it comes to the different subgenres of electronic music, right? So we're having this. Now we are bringing this synth playing those melodies, kind of playing the chords that we were playing, just focusing more on the melody up above. Let's see where this goes. So yeah, we have the melody being played now, mostly what the arpeggios are doing. We let it play again. Really cool. And in the background as well, we are also having one of the synths giving us a little bit of a syncopated chord. Because we have now another synth giving us the block chords. The block chord is when you just play the block, the chord, all the notes at the same time, right? And we are having it giving us a slightly syncopated rhythm to it. Syncopation, of course, syncopation being when you play against the beat or against the metronome. So this is called Breakcore. Yes, thank you. So what we're doing right now is we're having the chords being played. Let me see, like a C minor kind of thing, right? So instead of playing them, let's say I'm having the click here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of playing this, instead of playing something like this, we're doing something more like. So we're kind of against the beat over here. It's very subtle because it's very, very far in the back, fairly hidden in the mix, but it does give that extra sense of motion. Cool detail. Let's see where it goes. We bring the arpeggios again. So we bring now arpeggios, and now they are what is called elongated. So elongation being another way that you can develop material in which you repeat, in which you slow something down, right? So in this case, we were having some fairly fast arpeggios, right? And elongation would just be to do it slower. So yeah, it's again, it's interesting how much you can get away with hiding things in breakcore, because we have the main melody, we have the bass and everything, and then in the background we can just hide these other things a little bit. It's pretty cool. Let's see where it goes. Okay, we change it. There we go. We bring back the original guitars, with one of the synths giving us a little bit more of a doubling. Elongated version of the motif arpeggio on top of the original guitar. Very cool swapping back and forth. Now we bring the breakcore drums as well, focusing a bit more on the bass here, or in the chords, I would say. Very cool. Very cool. Changing the drums again. Like, 2 minutes, and we've been mainly just changing the drums, and it's changing the feel of it completely. Oh my god, I get to mention it. Oh my god, I get to mention it. Okay, it goes to show the importance of your accompaniment, right? The accompaniment, being whatever doesn't have the spotlight at the time, like whatever is not the lead. And if you want to hear a song where we're doing, so right now we're just changing the drums over and over, and it's changing the feeling of everything. If you want to hear a song where this happens in a much more exaggerated way, listen to the intro of The Mirror by Dream Theater. The Mirror by Dream Theater. It starts with the guitar doing what is called an ostinato. Ostinato being when you repeat something over and over again, right? So the guitar starts John, 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 John for 1 minute straight. Like, it's that exact rhythm for 1 full minute, and then the synths, the drums, the bass, they change around it every few repetitions. And there's points where it's genuinely difficult to tell that the guitar is still doing the same thing. And right now we are seeing something like that right now, just changing the drums. Just by changing the drums. So there you go. Let's see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. This is really good. Because now we went from the breakcore drums to a more punk drums. Elongated version, plus a synth. Oh, and the synth is giving us a flying melody on top of this. Another term I haven't used in a while. So flying melody is a colloquial term that I use. Colloquial, by that I mean there's no official academic definition for this, or at least I'm choosing not to use it for the sake of simplicity. And a flying melody it's a pretty easy one to understand, right? So you hear the drums are pretty busy, the accompaniment is fairly busy, right? So we have the drums, the bass, the chords, the synths, all of them giving us a very active accompaniment, and then higher than everything else, up above, higher than everything else, we have a very simple, slower melody, simpler and slower than everything else, just flying, soaring above the landscape that you've created, giving you this very cool sensation of just flying. I have 2 songs that I always recommend that have insanely good flying melodies. One of them is Roxanne from the musical Moulin Rouge. There's a film version, which is with Ewan McGregor. Yes, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor, singing the lead. And during the climax of this song, Ewan McGregor sings the flying melody. The other one being Good to Be King from the Journey to Bethlehem musical film thing. This one is sung by Antonio Banderas, and it's during the chorus. Insanely good introduction, like, you know how Disney used to make musical introductions for the villains in their films? Like, the films weren't musicals exactly, but you would have like a musical number to introduce the villain, and it used to be really good. Journey to Bethlehem does this with Antonio Banderas because he plays King Herod. It's really good. It's really good. And during the chorus, he sings the flying melody, and it's really, really good. And right now, we're having something along those lines on principle over here. Let's see where it goes. Letting that flying melody. Syncopated chords in the background. Bop, 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 bop. We're repeating the rest, we just have the syncopated chords in the background. And we bring back the arpeggios, very nice. Interesting, we bring back the arpeggios and we invert the melody. So inversion is when you take, and melody at least, because there's several types of inversion. And melody is when you take a melody and you flip it upside down. So for example, in this case, we were having a downwards going melody, right? We were having a downwards going melody in the flying melody, and now we are inverting it, now it's going upwards. That kind of thing. Really, really cool, especially bringing the other synths that we have now. This is really good. I thought this was going to have lyrics because the previous one we did from this one had lyrics as well and everything. But no, turns out we are doing a pretty cool, really good scoring for this. Because you put this during a chase scene or something. Not a chase scene, but like running. Like you're not being chased, but you're running around. For a platformer, for like a speed-based platformer. Like, I haven't played these games, right? So I think it would work really well. Let's see where this goes. Syncopated synth still there. Nice. We tone down the drums again. We bring back the violins, giving us that flying melody. We bring a bit more the bass a little forward. Woo! We bring back the arpeggios, but this time we are using a little bit of delay. So in music, in electronic music, especially nowadays that we have what are called digital audio workstations, shortened as DAWs, right? So digital audio workstation, which is just your music software, right? Like where you record, where you emulate. We use virtual instruments. They are called VSTs or VSLs, which use the language of MIDI. I don't remember fully what MIDI stands for, but it's basically the instructions on how this goes. For example, I have this here piano. This is not a real piano. This is a computer synthesized piano that can emulate a real piano fairly well, right? Like I can go fairly quiet. And I can go fairly loud with the piano. I can pretty much emulate, and I can do this with a bunch of other instruments, right? Like I can bring, let's do the harpsichord, right? Like I can bring a harpsichord, and it emulates it fairly well. And we have this for a bunch of different instruments. This is what is called a virtual sound library or a VST. However, one of the issues that comes with this, especially once you start doing synthesizers, is that there is no real way of capturing echo. Because in the case of like this piano, these are samples recorded in a very specific manner so that you can't get echo naturally out of this. You have to emulate it with computers. And now that we have the digital world, we have two ways of emulating echo. One of them is called reverb, and the other one is called delay. Reverb is small-scale echo. Imagine yourself in an empty auditorium or a church or an empty room, something like that, where you can hear the echo. The way this does is that it repeats the sound that you play just really, really quickly, right? So over here, for example, this piano has echo that you can bring, right? Like I can emulate the echo over here. So here is the piano without the echo. And here it is with the echo. So you can hear the sound lingering a little bit with small-scale echo. So it would be like being in an empty concert hall, right? And then the other type is delay. Delay is what we commonly refer to as echo. You know, you're in the, like, let's say you're in the top of the mountain and you scream and you yell, echo, 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 echo. That is delay. Works the same way as reverb, just with a bigger delay between the audio samples. And this is basically how it works, and you can program. The cool thing, because these are digital, you can modify and you can coordinate so that even your echo is on time. So there we go. Can you change the title to request open to closed? No, the asterisk is there for a reason. The asterisk is there because right now they're not open. There's a pinned message for that. So yeah, let's see where this goes. So yeah, that arpeggio had delay. All right, now we bring this rhythm back, focusing mainly on the bass, I would say, and the arpeggios going on over here. Oh, it's so cool how the delay mixes in with the rest. And we bring back the flying melody. It's a slightly more complex melody, so I would say... So this is still technically a flying melody. I would say it's still technically a flying melody, but this one over here is a little bit more a little bit more complicated. It's more akin to the second melody that we heard at the beginning, the one played by the first violin, which could be that the flying melody, the original flying melody that we heard, is just an elongated version of that melody. So it sounds like we're using the original melody now in this. Let's just see where it goes. Very lovely melody. We bring one more layer. So yeah, now we have the chords kind of in the middle. We have some chords a little bit hidden in the mix. Because I don't want to say they're drowned, because they're not. They are pretty audible. They're just not as evident as the rest. And we are using still that voice leading. And during that voice leading, that top note from the chords is giving us a little bit of counterpoint to the melody that we're getting. Counterpoint being the study of melodies, how they are, how they develop, how they interact with one another, usually under the context of having two or more melodies at the same time, right? Counterpoint is usually measured in motion. Bloppy, welcome today. Yeah, welcome back. It's been a while. So yes, there's three main types of motion. There is parallel, there is similar, and then there's contrary, right? So parallel motion is when you have two melodies that are doing the same thing, just from a different starting point, right? Very nice, very lovely, very simple, and it doesn't have to be consonants, right? Like you can really make these kinds of things. Usually you want consonants, right? But that's a different thing. Then you have similar motion, which is usually the melodies are mostly doing the same thing, but not entirely at the same ratio. Usually I use the invention in D minor, for example, right? So yeah, that is similar motion. And by the way, Donnie, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Mosh Pit. Welcome today. And then we have contrary motion, in which one goes one way, the other one goes the other way. And in this case, what we are doing with this contrary motion is that we are having the chords. We're having the high note of these chords giving us that counterpoint. Then let's see, so if I want to have some counterpoint here, I guess this would be better. So yeah, we're having that counterpoint happening with the chords. The chords are, as I said, they are very nice in the middle of the mix. So what did that remind me of? Mario, because they use a lot of happy melodies like that, usually. Because it was what? And it was probably it's a fairly simple chord progression. Like the chord progression, as I said, 1, 6, 2, 5, which is one of the most common chord progressions. Like the most common chord progression that exists, it's 1 to 5, right? Then the next most common chord progression, 1, 2, 5, 1. Then I would say is the 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. Like, it's something ridiculous, like 70% of all pop songs are written in that chord progression, just in different key signatures. So yeah, it's extremely common. So chances are there are some Mario, Super Mario Brothers, or Super Mario in general, pieces written in that chord, in that chord progression. Probably from Mario 64 though. So yeah, let's see where this goes. Beautiful melody, just letting that melody go through. We change. Ooh. Okay, and now I'm not entirely sure if this is being sidechained or if this is just syncopation, but we bring in this new drum beat. We have the bass and the bass drum basically just alternating, right? Just we're alternating over here, giving us a very cool switch up. And let's just see where this goes, because this is really good. Like the sound design here is really good. Let's see where it goes. Ooh. There we go. We can finally hear the syncopation that we had before. We have a repeated note. So we're just bringing one by one the layers that we've had before in simpler, I would say, samples. So they are a little bit less, I would say, they use less of the spectrum. So, excuse me. So we're having that, and yeah, we're just reintroducing them one by one. This is a good build-up. This is a good way of building up. Let's see where it goes. Red and welcome today. How you doing? Yes. There we go. We add another layer to the drums. What's the difference between bribe and regular requests? Okay, just so we can have it on the video as well, right? So, many people might ask, how do we pick our songs? We don't. We have, at the time of recording, we have 4 main types of picking, but right now at the time of recording, we're using 2, right? We have number 1, which is what we call the live queue, in which people request their songs live on stream. The bot can support 50 songs. Then we get the great sentient wheel of destiny to pick one of the songs for us, and it's the one that we're doing. For example, the one we're doing right now was picked by the great sentient wheel of destiny. Then we have the bribe queue. The bribe queue is pay to win. If you donate $10 or more, you get here, and then it's pay to win. After that, highest bidder gets the song. Simple as. Then we have the creator privilege list, which is if you're a creator on YouTube and you meet my arbitrary criteria that I will not disclose, then I put your songs here, and then we give them slightly higher priority. And then we have the offline queue, which is the queue from the Discord. Like, this is the Discord queue, the one that yeah, this one. It was gonna take a while to do, right? It was gonna take a little bit to get done. So yeah, we have these different queues going on, and that's how we determine the songs. I think we've done about 620 at the time of recording. I've only picked 3 so far. So yeah, that's how we determine. So yeah, regular live requests, those are done live on stream. Bribe queue is pay to win. Yes. Again, it's awesome when you give me money. I love it. Sometimes it's even funny or fun. Do not give me money if that puts you in a bad financial situation. Your economic well-being is your responsibility and your obligation. Do not sacrifice it for a meme. So, yeah. With that out of the way, let's... how will you even manage the offline queue? I have no idea. Let's continue. All right. And for the first time, we go off the ramp. Off the ramp being another colloquial term that I use, and I call this is a type of transition that I call specific type that makes your listener feel suspended up in the air at the mercy of inertia, waiting to see where you land, kind of like going off a ramp. Can be as short as a couple of beats, can be as long as an entire section. How do you do that? Remove the drums, maybe the bass, or just knock off from the bottom until up. 600 and only pick 3 is just evil? No, it's the wheel. It's the wheel. It's entirely the wheel. That way I can displace accountability. Let's see where this goes. So yeah, we have mainly the bass, we have these arpeggios, slightly different, the variation. There we go, we're reintroducing the drums. Now we start with the snare instead of the bass. We bring in the arpeggios. We're building up. Let's see what are you gonna do with this. Okay, we drop this, we bring back the melody, and we engage in a little bit of chromaticism. So, chromaticism is another way that you can develop your material in which you borrow from the chromatic scale. The chromatic scale is all 12 tones of Western music. So, over here in the piano, for example, is C to C, all white and black keys. And then you go to the octave. And these are called half steps because each of these is half a step away from each other. So let's take, for example, the key of C major. The key of C major being all white keys starting and ending in C. When you play in C major, anything that you play on C major within those white keys would be diatonic to C major. Anything else would be chromatic. So you can borrow notes from the chromatic scale, all the other 5 notes that we don't use in C major, to engage in chromaticism, to then borrow, and then you can use these for modulations. You can do these to just make your melodies more weird, that kind of stuff. Can there be 24 notes? In Western music, we have 12 tones. And then you can have as many notes as you can have in your instrument. So the tones are going to be the individual ones. So the tones are going to be the 12 tones of the scale, right? So you have C, then C sharp or D flat, then D sharp or D flat, and so on and so forth until you reach the other C. However, notes are usually going to be the difference between, I guess, the difference between tone versus notes is that tone is mainly going to be, in this context, just the note itself. So it doesn't matter which octave, which pitch it gets, because we could do the chromatic scale down here. Imagine I can play the piano, right? Or we could do it up here. We are still just playing the 12 tones of the chromatic scale. However, a tone becomes a note when you add pitch. Once you add pitch, you get the different notes. For example, this here is C4, also known as middle C. So over here, C3 or C below middle C. C 2 octaves below middle C. C 1 octave above middle C. So here then you would have C sharp an octave above middle C, or C sharp 5. These kinds of things that you can have with these. The tone would be here. This is C. This is C. This is C. This is C. Note C4 or middle C, C3 or C1 octave below middle C, C5. So that's the main difference between tones and notes for these, or pitch. And again, one of the worst parts about this whole thing is that many of these are also used colloquially. So they might get mixed up. Like some people might use tone and note interchangeably, which happens. So there you go. Anyway, let's see where this goes, because we got the drop here and we engaged in some chromaticism. So yeah, to finish explaining chromaticism, right? So let's say we have a melody over here, and then if you want to engage in chromaticism, you can just engage in whatever. Very, very simple. We're borrowing notes outside of the diatonic scale. Low Corrupted, welcome today. How you doing? Let's see where this goes. Yes, it is, Nidox. Yes, it is. It happens. This variation of the melody, very beautiful. We bring back the arpeggios, the slow ones, the elongated ones. What else? We also have counterpoint here. We have more than one melody going on over here. As you can tell, this is the climax of the piece. Usually in your climax, you're going to want to revisit as much of the material as you can, as you can or as you want. And you also want to make this as grandiose and bombastic as you can make it, right? Like this is, of course, the climax. It needs to be climactic, cathartic, whatever you want to call it. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, we're letting this play through. We're revisiting a bunch of the melodies. Nice. A little bit of the syncopation there. But I think that's the arpeggiation. Alright, another run. With a little bit more play on the bass. Nice. We bring back the synth with the delay, and now that we're making the bass a little bit more active, we're getting a little bit of counterpoint on the lower end over there. Really cool. Let's see where it goes. There we go. We bring back this synth with its version of the melody, the chromatic one. Something I can appreciate on this one is how each melody has had its own unique instrument to it. Like, every synth has been slightly different one way or another for each of the different melodies that we've had, which gives each of the melodies its own little character. It's very easy for that to play against you, but Digital Descendant here has managed to balance it out pretty well, I would say. Let's see where it goes. Let's see how this ends. Descending inverted melody, very nice. Right after the Chromaticism, very lovely. How are you gonna end this? Off the ramp, we bring back electric guitar with the bass. I don't remember hearing electric guitar earlier, but it could have been drowned in the mix. We're just playing the melody. We're just playing the melody now. With the bass. And we end it with a half cadence. We have this one last synth, kind of like a shooting star. And we end this with a half cadence, right? So when you're making music, you're doing one of two things. You are building tension or you're resolving that tension. That point in between, we call the cadence. Imagine that circle is over here, right? So, let me fix it. Let me fix it. There we go. So we have the cadence, right? Usually this is built in your chords or in your melodies, and the cadence is basically just the expectation that you're gonna go back to the first chord. Half cadence, however, that was my computer, sorry. Half cadence is when you deliberately build the tension and do not resolve it back to the start, right to the next section. And you leave it there, right? So this is usually to create a sense of expectation and momentum so that the cadence resolves in the next section, in the next song, the next track, or that it loops back to the very beginning. For example, I do this self-promotion time, right? Warning, these songs are orchestral, melodic death metal, so it's very intense music. You have been warned. But if you listen to my song Second Conquest, which, you know, by me, the song ends with a half cadence. It builds up this massive, like it has this massive build-up, just building up this big cadence, and it doesn't resolve. But if you right after listening to Second Conquest, listen to As We March, also by me, the cadence resolves there. So Second Conquest creates the cadence, resolved in As We March. So that is one of the uses of it. It uses Mongolian throat singing, yes. It uses Mongolian throat singing. My music uses Mongolian throat singing because I'm a Mongolian throat singer. And funnily enough, the two songs I just mentioned, those talk about Mongol history, right? But yeah, that's not the point. So that's how you can do you can do half cadences. That's half cadences. That's how this one ends. And there you have it. That was Former Gardens by Digital Descendant from the Nullscape Volume 2, a Roblox game, is my understanding. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here, musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas of 2025, which not very likely at this point, but still possible. If it happens, On top of doing the audiobook fan fiction thing that I said, I will also play a single video game of the choice of the community, whatever y'all vote for, within terms of servers, of course, and will dedicate a few after shows or even some full streams to it, right? This has to be achieved through legitimate and honest means only. No account duping, no botting, no buying followers, no alt accounting, no rat behaviors like that. Go share the videos, the stream with your friends, with your families friends, with your friends' families. Those are two very distinct concepts, by the way. With your online and offline communities, go share these videos with everybody that you know. Also use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that, so go coordinate for that. Artists, Digital Descendant, or anybody else, or otherwise on YouTube, or otherwise, this is an open invitation. This is an open invitation. Let's work together. Let's collaborate. If you want any of my musical skills, whether it is my guitars, Mongolian throat singing, you know, the good old kind of thing, regular singing, voice acting, or if you want help figuring out something for your composition, reach out, let me know. Let's work together. Let's make stuff. And if you're on the audience and you know somebody could benefit from any of my skills, reach out, let them know. Please do not harass anyone. Please do not spam anyone. Be cool about things. Don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs. So become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I will be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment in this video. It has the instructions of what to do. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. We stream live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, so that you can tune in from whichever platform you prefer. Again, 6 p.m. Central Europe. So if you're not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch, both linked down below. So if you live in Weed and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Do not worry. Just go to Discord, Twitch, both linked down below, and it's going to show in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because, of course, I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen. We record them live on stream in the after show on the main channel, and then the recordings go here, linked in the description down below, or just search on YouTube, same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you go. There you go. Former Gardens, Digital Descendant, Nullscapes. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.